Hello, this is a demonstration of Thunder Alley, a stock car racing game that is being produced by GMT Games and can be pre-ordered at www.gmtgames.com. Thunder Alley is designed by Jeff and Carla Horger, and it is intended to be played by 2 to 7 players, and play times can be anywhere from 30 minutes to about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. A quick note before we get started, the graphics you're going to see in this game are just the conceptual art that was put together by Jeff and given to GMT to see what the concept of the game was. The artwork will be revisited. This is simply a playtest kit. This is not the final version or anything like that. A few things you'll notice is this board is actually rather large. That is mostly for the video production so that it's easier to see. So let's take a look at how some of this works. In the race we see here, these cars have already completed one lap. As you look at these, they are moving right to left or counterclockwise around the track, and they're just crossing the start-finish line. Right now the 5 car is in the lead. He's on the yellow teams, depicted by the color of the car. Also the 2 and 4 are on the yellow team, and there's the 16 of the blue team. This particular game is set up as having 2 players, each with 6 cars. You'll notice the background on the 2 car is black as opposed to the lighter color on the other cars. That is because the 2 car has already been activated this turn. Having been activated simply means that he's already been moved this turn. He was selected and a card was played for that car. In the race we're looking at here, this is a 2-player race right now. So each team has 6 cars. Yellow will have 6, blue will have 6. And right now, some of the cars have moved already. It looks like blue started the turn in the lead and had 2 cars move. And then yellow has since had 1 car move. So blue went first, then yellow went, then blue went. And now we're looking at time for blue to go. You'll notice back here, blue also has a car down on the apron. That's how cars pit in the And this car is pitting just before it finishes lap 1, as we have already completed a lap in this race. Here we see the cards that are in the yellow team's hand, the yellow player's hand. He's got a few lead movement cards, a pursuit movement, a solo movement, and a couple of draft cards. He's going to choose to play this top card and places it on the discard pile. A couple of things about this card. You'll notice that it has kind of a tannish or maybe greenish background at the top under Watch the Gauge. What this indicates is this card causes a fuel token to be placed on the car, on the player's card, to indicate wear on the card. As these tokens add up, the car begins to degrade and it can't move as far on each move. But at this point, this car doesn't have a problem with its number of tokens, and it will move as normal. You'll also notice it says it has a big 6. That's the number of movement points it will use. And it says draft movement, and that's what we want to look at here, is how draft movement works. The yellow player has determined he's going to play this particular card on the 6 car. So we have the 6 car here, and what he is going to do is move forward 6 spaces. Now, because it is a draft card, he will pull any cars that are behind him. He would also, if he had cars in front of him, he would push them as well, and they would all move 6. Now in this case, as he starts to move, he's going to move 2 spaces, and then you'll notice that he's hooked up with these other cars. Well, with a draft card, they just all keep moving as though they had started movement with him. So he's already moved 2. He started here, he went 1, 2, and what I normally do is just start with the car that is now at the front of the pack and move him the rest of the movement. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then all the cars slide forward to that point. So what you'll notice is the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he had started here. He pulled the 13 blue car with him. The 13, the blue player is certainly happy or pleased that he pulled him with him. And they moved forward 6 spots. When they encountered cars in front of them, they pushed them along. And that is one of the functions of the draft card. Other cards don't necessarily let you push cars that you come into from behind. And we'll talk about that a little later. Now that 6 has been activated, we flip him to his activated side so that we know we can't play another card this turn on the 6 card. The last thing that will need to happen is the 6 car will need to get a wear token. In this case it's one of these, it's a fuel can, and that'll go on his player card to represent that he used a, he now has some fuel wear. So since this is a 2-player game, next up, in this particular setup, this is a 2-player game, next up will be Blue. And Blue has decided that he's going to play a card for 7 points that uses what is called lead movement. And this particular card not only is just a lead movement card, but it has a special function. We'll get in here and take a look at this. This is a slingshot card. And the slingshot card, as you'll notice, first of all, it has a black header. That means it takes tire wear. It's worth 7 points. And it has what is referred to as lead movement. Lead movement is activated. A car that is activated with this card can pull any cars that start behind it. It can pull them along. Those cars that are behind it follow it in exactly the same spaces that it touches as it moves. So we will demonstrate that here real quick. The other thing about the slingshot card is you'll notice there's some extra text there, and that extra text indicates what this card is also capable of doing. The slingshot card allows the activated card to move diagonally 1 time during its movement. Now normally during movement, cars can either move forward or they can move laterally, side to side. So to move forward and down 1 would cost you 2 movement points if they were both open spaces. In this case, with this card, we get to do that for the cost of 1 point. It is not required when you have this kind of card to do anything particular with it if you don't choose to. So like the slingshot effect isn't a requirement to use this card. The player does not have to use that. But Blue has decided he is indeed going to use that. He's going to move the 11 card. So he's going to activate the 11 card. And since this is a lead movement card, he pulls the card that is behind him. So what I'm going to do is just count this off as 7, and let's not forget he can move diagonally 1 time during his movement if he'd like. So what we're going to see is he's going to move 7. He's going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now he's going to choose to do that diagonal movement. 6, 7. And then this car follows in exactly the same spaces that he went in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this diagonal allowed him to cut in front of the 4 car. And you'll notice the 4 car has not yet been activated. So potentially Blue will get, you know, possibly some movement if the 4 feels like being friendly and moving them along. After he's moved, we flip him to his activated side. He's already been activated, and he will receive a black tire marker on his card. So thanks for watching this quick demonstration of a couple of the movement options in Thunder Alley. I hope you find the game intriguing and interesting, and would appreciate it if you go take a look at it on GMT's website at www.gmtgames.com.